So, hey guys, Chauzu here. I thought we'd do some live ISO testing. I've been trying him out myself just to figure out is ISO actually bugged or not, and it turns out he isn't. Shoutouts to Chauzu for that. I talked it over with him on Discord, and indeed, ISO actually works as intended, at least according to JP text, but it's just the way that his capability activates is not like they usually do. So let's check that out. Let's just do a rehash on ISO, just a quick one. But basically, strength and shooter captain. The main gimmick is that like Ruben Beckman, he can remove defensive effects by tapping, and he can remove damage threshold and damage reduction by 2 turns if you fulfill the condition, unlike 1 turn with Ruben Beckman. But you can't remove def up here. Basically, if it says that if you tap with this unit with a 1 orb, you reduce damage threshold by 2 turns. This is actually incorrect if you tap on a shooter character with 1 orb. This is 100% confirmed. It says that on JP. I've been able to see it in my own testing as well. And if you do that, you reduce damage threshold by 2 turns. And if you have barrier pan and you fulfill the condition, you reduce damage reduction by 2 turns. And yeah, condition is going to be something to think about, even with ISO, because for some reason, ISO basically got a rare recruit, barrier pierce. I think he's the only legend in the game with a bad barrier pierce. That's actually super triggering. I have no idea why they did this. It's just a shaft, no other way to say this. But yeah, basically he's actually interesting because his super claws can help with the def up. So you just get a straight 6 turns of def up removal, and you also get a nice shooter resistance applied. So I think this ISO is going to be really good against content where we do have to care about a lot of defensive effects, and usually we just run units that can ignore them, like cat and dog, stuff like that ignore defensive effects, but they can struggle with the def up. But obviously ISO doesn't do that, and if you build correctly around shooters mainly, you can just remove so much of it easily, even more if you pair ISO up with Ruben Beckman. We're going to try that later, but first let's jump into the content. Just a reminder of the batch here. Marco is not a shooter. Kiku is not a shooter. So we shall not remove damage threshold with them. But it looks a bit weird because usually with these effects, it's applied when you finish the tap. So if you hit a good with Kiku, you get the effect, or if you hit a great or something. But this actually works more like when you apply resistance to the enemy, like if you run Legend Hiyori, for example, and have a 1 orb and tap with her, you apply resistance to the enemy, and this is displayed right away. This works the same way, so when you tap with a unit that fulfills the condition, you remove the effect right away. And this is actually good. Like, it's confusing because we haven't seen it before really on a captain, but it's really good because this basically means that 1 extra unit will do damage. So basically, let's say we do a team where the final unit on the team, the 6th unit, removes the final debuff. Usually you'd remove it with like the perfect, so only the perfect hit gets the max damage, since that's when you remove it. But now it's actually removed right away, so you get the full damage from the unit. I hope that makes sense. All you have to know is that this is actually pretty good for ISO. And as you see, subclass removes the def up. Maha removes the, well, nothing, but it does boost the base attack. And well, double ISO isn't that good, but as you see here, 25% shooter resistance and resistance do stack. So with double superclass, we do get 50%, which is neat. Otherwise, like double ISO special does nothing, so only useful if you want to use them different turns or something. But yeah, Basically what we're going to do now is we're going to we'll start with Kiko and Marco, and this is the best way to show that it works as intended, because then we won't touch damage threshold at all, but when we tap the perfect with Marco, it will look like he removes it, but that's because we're going to move to Usopp then, so it's actually Usopp that removes the damage threshold. So as you see here, we tap with Kiku, don't remove damage threshold, don't remove damage threshold. But there it goes away, and it's because I tapped with Usopp after. See, I was very confident it was bugged, but it's actually not. It works as intended. It's just the global text is wrong, and it's a bit unique considering abilities like this. But yeah, let's do some real content too. Let's do some Arena Mihawk. I think I forgot to change the team. Let's add something more to reduce CD. Shooter. Reduce CD. I made this team already and tried it, but I figured let's do it again. We can do Katakuri, why not? Does he even have Berry Pen? Yeah, I think he does. No, he doesn't. Well, that could be interesting to showcase, I guess. But... Well, we can use this team with Whitebeard, I guess. Yeah, it's fine. Not going to be a no-stall team, but it should convey the message. Let's see if I have an ISO left. 1, that's perfect. Okay, let's get into it. So basically, final stage was going to happen now. You will see that when I tap with Whitebeard, you will see that he doesn't remove anything final stage. But if the captain ability worked for everybody, which I thought. Like, the way I looked at this when I tested out ISO is that when I hit good, great, or perfect, that unit will remove the defensive effect. But as said, that's not how it works, so yeah, it's going to take some bit to get used to that certain aspect. So sadly, Whitebeard isn't boosted, so killing everything in one turn is a bit rough, but I'm doing live commentary, so whatever. I rarely play live and record, so it's pretty fresh for me. Usually I pre-record the teams and then add commentary later. Feels more natural for me in general. See, I might as well use Whitebeard here. He's just filler for ISO super type condition, and I used him just to test basically. So you see now when I tap with Whitebeard, nothing will happen, and then if I go to Chopper, nothing will happen because they don't have Berry Pen, so they can't remove the damage reduction. Well, see for yourself. Then we won't trigger ISO's damage threshold removal. We're actually triggering the removal from Lakaru and Ben Beckman. But yeah, this playthrough is going horribly. Like, when I did test with this team, it worked flawlessly, but I got some bad orb RNG, I guess. Like, this should be a Muno shooter team. That will have been a lot better. But yeah, I will definitely do more ISO teams. We'll try him out more. Like, I'm planning to pull tomorrow, so I might get him, which would be neat. But yeah, I do think this hybrid is really cool. Like, it's unfortunate that both are super class shooter, but what can you do? Like, in this combination it's bad, but for other combinations it's good, basically. So yeah, Chopper is always very useful here. And yeah, this combo of 3 special is just going to decimate Doffy here. Chopper to remove all debuffs. Kizaru for orbs and attack boost and color affinity with level limit break. We have Lakaru and Beckman to give a chain boundary and orb boost. So we just need to start the chain, and I think Kizaru could have killed with a good even there, potentially, which is pretty crazy to think about. But yeah, for one last time, let's check out the mechanics. And since we have Chopper on the team who doesn't remove damage reduction, we can see a bit how the mechanics work. But yeah, we use ISO here first, because ISO only gives 1 orbs if you have 5 or more turns of damage reduction, damage threshold left. So if I had used both the super class first, I'd actually not be able to get the one orb, so that will be important to remember in the future. But they were pretty good now, so we continue to tap with Chopper first. Since Chopper has a one orb, he will remove a turn of damage threshold, 2 turns of damage threshold right away. But nothing more since he doesn't have Barrier Pen. Whitebeard won't remove anything when I hit a perfect with Chopper, because he doesn't have anything, and then when I hit a perfect with Whitebeard, I will remove 3 turns of both damage threshold and damage reduction, since Pudding will have Barrier Pen. I hope that makes sense. So just that damage threshold here due to the one orb. Nothing now. Now I'll remove 3 turns. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I hope that showcase made sense. ISO looks very fun to use. Look forward to using him more. Hope I pull in tomorrow. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.